En nombre de todo el equipo de líderes de Cisco, quiero decir que mi corazón está con las víctimas de los sismos, huracanes y otros desastres naturales que han ocurrido este año. And it is times like these that show us that we are stronger when we work as a team. So let's demonstrate that today. For every retweet of that video that you just saw, Cisco will donate $5 to Habitat Mexico to help rebuild for the victims of the earthquakes. And it doesn't stop there. You can go to habitat.org/Cisco, and if you're a Cisco employee, Cisco will match every dollar you donate, and we'd love to see that number expand significantly. Today, Cisco employees and Cisco has donated over $350,000 to help the victims of the earthquake, and we'd love to see that number go up significantly. So I let each of you to take out your phones right now, go to Twitter and retweet, and then when you have a moment, please also go to habitat.org. We are so lucky to be here today, to be here in Cancun for the 6th Cisco Live hosted here. Mexico has a vision of how technology can make the country stronger by playing a key role in developing new opportunities for economic growth, creating new jobs, and fostering social inclusion. Just over 2 years ago, Cisco partnered with Mexico Conectado to connect the unconnected. We worked with them to provide public Wi-Fi access in over 250,000 locations, connecting schools, connecting parks and health centers and libraries, all in an effort to close the digital divide. And by connecting the unconnected, they also set up an infrastructure that would bring the country together in a time of crisis. It was that infrastructure after the September earthquakes that enabled loved ones to connect with their family members, find friends, and also coordinate aid. Technology has transformed our lives, and it has enabled us to be more productive, to connect, to be mobile, and to augment our capabilities with intelligence. That pace of technology is increasing very rapidly. So let's consider the path that we took to get here. First, we saw the rise of the personal computer, where we saw massive increases in personal productivity. We then had the second era, which was the rise of the internet, and we played a pretty big role in connecting all of those PCs and data centers and increasing productivity and knowledge sharing globally. Then in the third era, which is the one that we're in right now, it enabled the cloud and mobile era by connecting public cloud ecosystems, providing SaaS applications that were easily available. But we are now on the cusp of a fundamentally transformative new era, the era of intelligence. In less than 3 years, we're moving from a few million devices coming online per month to that many coming online per hour. And each device is generating its own data, and all of that data has to be analyzed. So in the era of intelligence, the role of the secure network is more critical than ever. And it is with this backdrop that we've made our mission to team with you so that you can thrive in the era of intelligence. Our mission is to provide you with the secure, intelligent platform for digital business. What I'd like to share with you today is our team playbook. You may be familiar with Maslow's hierarchy. Maslow's great innovation was saying that we had some fundamental needs: physiological needs, safety, and belonging before we could reach the ultimate top, which is self-actualization, and that's our full potential. I think there's a digital analog to this. There's a digital playbook that enables people and their organizations to also reach their ultimate potential. So it starts with security. It's the food, it's the air, it's the shelter, the basic needs. Without it, digitization completely falls apart. If you try to design for security after you've optimized for other parameters, you have to go back and redo everything. You don't build a house, furnish it, put your valuables in it, put your people in it, and then decide to have walls and doors and windows. And we have no choice but to do this with speed. And that's where automation comes in. Today, our Jasper platform is the largest machine-to-machine connectivity platform. And that platform brings online 1.7 million devices per month. But like I said earlier, in a little over 2 years, it's going to be that many per hour. And you can't scale that way using linear models. We had to reinvent the network. And this automation is a necessary prerequisite to enabling you to address the massively distributed compute and fragmentation that comes with the multi-cloud reality. On average, our customers are managing 5 cloud environments. So now, we've covered some of the basics, and we're getting to the higher order elements. We're now able to unlock the intelligence using all of that data in the network, in distributed compute, and in applications and the microservices that make them up. And it is in this era of intelligence that we finally reach the ultimate peak, which is the human experience, where you can achieve the outcomes that you desire, fuel innovation in your communities, attain zero downtime in your manufacturing facilities, provide the best care to your patients, provide customized education to your students, and do it all with the highest level of privacy and security. And this hierarchy translates directly to our strategy. This is the digital roadmap to enable your organization to reach its full potential. And we are ready to team with you and our 65,000 partners globally to help you achieve your full potential. So let's get started. It starts with getting security right first, because the best digital offense starts with the best security defense. For most, if not all of our customers, security is the primary thing standing in the way of digitization. 71% of executives are slowing down innovation for security concerns. 40% of them are halting mission-critical initiatives because of the concerns about security risks. And then you look at this last statistic and cringe a little bit, because more than 2/3 of them are reluctant to innovate because of security concerns. We've got to address this. As one example, imagine you're staying in this 4-star hotel in Austria. And in the first morning, you have a meeting, but before that meeting, you want to work out, so you go to the gym. You come back to your room, and your key doesn't work. You go down to the lobby and you say, I need to reprogram my key, and they say in a panicked voice, all of our systems are down, we cannot reprogram your key, and we can't check anyone else into the hotel. Would you ever go back to that hotel again? Would you go to your meeting in your sweaty gym clothes? That's a pretty big inconvenience. But that actually happened to this very hotel 4 different times. It was hacked continuously, and every time the panicked owners of the hotel actually ended up paying the Bitcoin ransom because they couldn't do anything else in order to let their people and their customers back in their rooms. Now the problem is that it gets much, much worse than just an inconvenience. Earlier this year, 1/3 of the United Kingdom's National Health Service was hit by a ransomware attack using the WannaCry vulnerability, costing over $4 billion in revenue, and worse, all surgeries were canceled, ambulances were diverted, and 8,000 patients were directly impacted. These types of attacks can happen to any organization at any time. And as more things are connected, the threat landscape is increasing, and the level of sophistication of the hackers is also increasing. But the reality is that we're living in a world where both sophisticated and amateur hackers can actually hurt our ability to do business. And so to defend against this, we have to ask ourselves, do we have a secure, effective security posture? First, you have to minimize the number of threats that make it in, and then you want to minimize the time to detection and the time to remediation. But our customers are struggling with this. Because today, on average, they've got up to 50 different security vendors using point products that are not designed to work together. That's analogous to flying this broken plane made of 50 different airplanes. Would you want to fly in this? And that's why at Cisco, we have focused on providing an integrated architecture that acts as a force multiplier and increases the effectiveness. The average time to detection is still a whopping 100 days in the industry to detect a vulnerability in your network. But with our integrated architecture, it actually takes that down to just a few hours, and we're working on continuing to take it down even further. Why is that? Because we see a threat once, and we protect everywhere. How many threats do we see? Over 20 billion threats are blocked by Cisco every single day. That's 7 trillion every single year. To give you a sense of scale, Google sees 3.5 billion searches per day. So we block 6 times the number of threats as there are Google searches in a day. And we take all of that intelligence and feed it into this integrated architecture to help make you more secure. We monitor threats across the network, the endpoint, and the cloud. These products stand on their own, but more importantly, they're integrated to work with each other. And then they are backed by the threat intelligence from our Talos group. This group is an elite group of security hackers for good, data scientists who take all of that data and feed it back into our products. They actually found that WannaCry vulnerability that was exploited 3 months before it was used. So none of our customers were actually impacted. And we also view this as a responsibility that we have to share that knowledge with the industry. So the Talos group is regularly publishing white papers and sharing any vulnerabilities that they find from our customers' products or our partners' products. And lastly, this is all backed by a services team that supports you on that journey. Now, I don't want you to just hear this from me. We have a customer with us today who is a partner from Peru. He exemplifies this teaming model that we have had with our customers. Vulcan Mining is a company that has recognized the value of a security architecture that works together. They embarked on a digital transformation 6 years ago called Vulcan Futuro to reinvent the company. And here to talk about that is our guest, Marco Urtiaga from Vulcan. Thank you, Marco. Welcome. So Marco, tell us about the role that IT plays in helping Vulcan achieve its business strategy.
Okay. Hace 6 años empezó este proyecto en la compañía de transformación digital llamado Vulcan Futuro, con el objetivo de poder hacer el acompañamiento de los objetivos estratégicos de la compañía para los próximos 10 años. Este plan de desarrollo incluía una infraestructura base robusta, segura y moldeable para los avances de la tecnología. Sobre ello, el deployment de nuestras aplicaciones base de soporte e inteligencia artificial. Y finalmente, robótica, inteligencia artificial y procesos automatizados.
That's amazing that you put together a 10-year business strategy and then you also included artificial intelligence in it as far back as 6 years ago. So I know that you're leading the security team and it's a small and mighty team. So what keeps you up at night?
Considero 3 puntos importantes. El primero, la protección de la información que nosotros consideramos confidencial. En esto puedo mencionar estudio de exploraciones, la propiedad intelectual de la compañía, nuevas licitaciones en las cuales la compañía puede estar cubierta. Consideramos que si esto cae en manos de nuestros competidores, estamos en serios problemas. Segundo, el aspecto operacional. Creo que para todos los que estamos en el mercado minero, sabemos lo complejo que es en nuestras unidades el trabajo con las contratistas. Para nosotros ha sido un gran desafío poder interactuar con estas contratas para poder interconectar nuestros sistemas. Y tercero, la concientización. No es una tarea simple en las unidades mineras establecer una cultura de seguridad de la información. Es un objetivo que hasta el día de hoy continuamos en ello.
So those are some of the same challenges that everyone here is struggling with. Securing the data and making sure they protect their intellectual property, having the best operations even across third-party contractors. And then the last point you hit is really important. The culture and the awareness and making sure that everyone is constantly thinking about security the entire time. So I know you've been working with Cisco for a long time. Can you tell us about how you partnered with Cisco?
Ya. El roadmap que nosotros diseñamos hace 6 años fue diseñado con una arquitectura a través de capas, desde la parte perimetral hasta la seguridad interna. Aquí podemos mencionar tecnologías como firewalls, IPS. Esta arquitectura, con los avances de la tecnología, se ha ido fortaleciendo en estos años, pero por otro lado han ido incrementándose los desafíos para mitigar riesgos. Como un ejemplo, protegernos en todo lo que significa ataques de seguridad avanzada. Consideramos a Cisco un asesor de seguridad para nosotros y un socio estratégico para el cumplimiento de estos objetivos.
Well, we thank you for the opportunity to partner on this journey, and I'm curious, what's next for Vulcan?
Somos un equipo reducido y siempre estamos con la misión de hacer más con menos. Uno de nuestros objetivos es justamente buscar soluciones que nos permitan dar el concepto de lo que es seguridad gestionada, procesos automatizados, y otro de los grandes objetivos es buscar soluciones en el cloud que nos permitan el aseguramiento adecuado. Esto en base al roadmap que nosotros tenemos para el mediano y largo plazo.
Marco, you can count on us to help you in that journey and continue with the Vulcan's digital transformation. What Marco is talking about here is a very different world that calls for a whole new network, and we will be there to team with you on that journey. Thank you, Marco.
We live in a world defined by less.